Alright, so this is a dedicated Virtua Fighter arcade from 1993 by Sega. And I'm going to do a quick playthrough. So, get everything set up. Set this here. And should be alright there. I'm going to try to stay out of the camera. It's possible if you just kneel down in front, but it can be a little difficult to stay out of the shot. So, hopefully, get this kind of lined up. I'm actually going to turn the volume down just a little bit. I know I've got the attract sound off. I'll turn it back on. Let's see. Oops. Turn it down a little bit. Alright, hopefully that's good enough volume, but I can still talk without having to scream. Alright, so as I say, Virtua Fighter 1993. This is the first polygonal fighting game. Also technically the first 3D fighting game, I guess. Although I've heard there was some 2D fighting game, like 2D graphics, but gameplay wise it was 3D. But this is your first game to use 3D graphics in a fighting game. And there's no actual like sidestep mechanic, but there is a way to side roll when you're getting up. So. One thing that's interesting to note is that, so this is 1993 when this came out, and the crazy thing was, in the 90s, I'd say the 90s especially, the 80s as well, but especially right here in the 90s, just the advancements that were being made in technology, it was crazy. It's something that's kind of long gone now, and something I do miss was just the constant evolution of games. So in 1991, you've got Street Fighter 2, which kind of came out of nowhere and really defined what a fighting game was. And then the next year, you've got Mortal Kombat, where you're doing digitized characters, like actually filming people and putting them in your game. So you went from like a cartoon look in 91, then 92, now you got photographs, and now the next year you're dealing with polygons, and then the year after that, now you're Killer Instinct with pre-rendered graphics. It's just crazy. One thing that's interesting is, although this is the first 3D fighting game, it's actually, I think it's done really well. Like animation-wise, it's really impressive. I've seen plenty of games since then that have got some pretty jank animations. Even past 2000, like stuff comes out and it's kind of, I don't know, like. But that was really the main thing I noticed with this game was the smooth animation. Not just the idea of like, wow, this is crazy that we've got a game running in real time that's 3D like this, but yeah, just how smooth the animations were, and kind of the speed of the game. It was a more realistic speed. Like this looked more like things that actual people could do, as compared to some of the things that we were seeing in some of the other games. Now, one thing to take note is right now it's first to 2 rounds, but you can actually set it for 5. Now, whenever I played this in the arcade, I'm trying to think. I feel like I only really saw this at probably 3 locations, but it was always set for 3 rounds, which I think is better. But I'm trying not to make this video too long, so I just left it at 2. The one thing you can't change though is the time. So it's always 30 seconds, which usually is enough time, but it's usually just barely enough time. You do get a lot of timeouts, and versus is kind of a problem. Sometimes it can get a little, I don't know, it's just like, it's all about the clock running out. Kind of unfortunate. That was one thing that was really nice in the Saturn version. You had that option. You could set it for 99 seconds or infinite time or whatever. And I know that game gets a lot of flack on the Saturn for being kind of glitchy. It definitely had graphical glitches for sure. Polygons clipping in and out, but gameplay-wise, it was actually really good. And they did a good job with the remix of the music. They actually added more parts to the songs. You didn't really hear it unless you played on, you know, more rounds. But I got some more moves I need to do. I'm kind of not really paying attention. He's got that. He's got this slide kick. I don't know how he doesn't kill himself with this attack, but. Yeah, KAGE was always he was my main dude in this game for sure. But that was my typical thing with games was who was the ninja, who was the coolest looking character, or the best looking chick in the game. That's pretty much it. And if there was a combination of the two, like Taki and Soul Blade or Soul Edge, yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. One thing's really cool, so I was talking about how it's kind of impressive how smooth the animation is, especially for being the first of its kind, because they're pretty much the pioneers. But also, just kind of the details of having physics running. Like, we've got the headbands, Lau, his ponytail, pretty much every character except for, I think, Jackie, who's the first character with the spiked hair. You can see him on the marquee, and Raw, which will be the final character. Everybody else, I think, has, you know, a ponytail or a belt or something. Really cool. And this is just such a cool. This was such a cool era because at that time the arcades were superior to your home console, so there was a real reason to go to the arcade. And like I say, this stuff would just pop out of nowhere. You'd go to an arcade and there would just be this game. You never heard of it. There's no hype about it. It's just like you walk in and there's a 3D fighting game now. You know, that's so cool, and I really miss that because I messed up my inputs there. Yeah, now you kind of know about games way in advance, and whether you get hype or you don't, it's like by the time they come out, you know, you've seen videos of it, and it's fine, but you really, to me, the excitement's not there at all. And where games have, you know, gotten to graphically anyway, the improvements are incremental at this point. You're never gonna have sort of those huge steps like you had back then. Now this fight here is just a bonus. I know it says it down at the bottom, bonus stage. So this isn't actually part of, this isn't a requirement. So win or lose, this is the end of the game. You'll notice that the timer in the bottom right, it's gone away. So this doesn't affect your high score at all. But Doral is pretty tough. She likes to do a lot of throws. Can really just knock you out of things. I'm trying to think of what other moves I haven't done. I think I did all his throws. Pretty sure I did that one. Yeah, there's one of those. Basically, Doral just has moves from other characters, so that was Pai's throw, one of her throws. Look at that back kick. So when you jump up in the air, you can press either forward in a kick or back and kick. And I had an idea she would run past me, so. I want to say this is one of the first games that I don't know. What was the first game to ever implement pressing 2 buttons to do a throw? Because this game uses it. Because it's just 3 buttons. You got defense, punch, and kick. And you push defense and punch. I feel like this might be the first game to do that. And I don't know what the first game was to implement mids or overheads, whichever terminology you want to use. But if somebody's doing a crouching block in this game, you've got moves that'll hit them. So, anyway, there's Virtua Fighter, the original, 1993 by Sega. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.